2022 is almost coming to a close, and there were a lot of great games that were published this year. It was not a epic, historic year for video games, but a pretty good year for video games.
And we're talking about all of the platforms, so not just PC, but Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and everything that was rated on Metacritics.
And inevitably, with all of those games and all of those platforms, some of them are not going to make the critics very happy. They can't all be winners.
But we're going to also talk about the user reviews, so sometimes it can be quite the opposite.
That's true. But this is our list of the 10 worst rated games according to Metacritic released in 2022.
So let's go from the best worst
to the best worst.
Worst
right.
worst.
Yeah. Okay. Logically, yeah.
Yeah. So the first one would be a Blade Runner Enhanced Edition, 52 on Metascore, and 4.8 on user score. So that probably fits.
They really seem to agree.
This is a remaster of a very old game, but apparently it didn't go well and the game didn't age well.
25-year-old classic video game, but apparently it has a lot of problems. Moving on to Kamiwaza Way of the Thief. This is also a remake from a PlayStation
I believe PlayStation 1
game.
Yeah.
That might have been good on PlayStation 1, but considering that it was published in 2022, even as a remake, the graphics are not the best. Apparently, the story didn't really go very far either. And critics ended up giving it a
52.
Yeah, 52.
And there's no user reviews.
Not a good sign. Not a good sign.
The third game is the Waylanders that got 51 Metascore, and user score is 1.9. That is really
So the critics
bad.
were a lot more generous than actual regular players.
And
my goodness.
This is a party-based RPG filled with Celtic myth and historical legend. So it doesn't look that bad.
It doesn't look that bad.
Apparently it is pretty bad.
Yeah, probably better to steer clear of this one until they get it all sorted out. Yeah. Moving on to The Last Ori Crew, and this one is a bit personal. This hurts a bit because we film and live in Prague, the Czech Republic, and there's not that many Czech video game developers. There's a few of them.
There are quite a few famous
a few famous
Czech
ones.
games.
Kingdom Come Deliverance is from a
Mafia,
Czech developer.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be one of the new big games developed by a Czech gaming studio, but apparently it got a 50 from Metacritic.
But it's 7.8 on user score.
Yeah.
So actually, people who played it think it's a pretty good game.
Compared to the critics. The critics were a bit hard. It looks like a beautiful, big, open-world RPG with fantasy elements, talking animals, of course.
I believe this is a clone to Dark Souls or Elden Ring.
Okay, so a lot of interest, and I see a sci-fi boat. Okay, I thought I knew more about this game. It's putting a lot of elements together. It may have been too ambitious and tried to do too many things at once, for the critics at least.
But users liked it.
That's right, yeah.
Then we have Azora, the Chronicles, that users didn't like it because they never played it. They stayed away, and Metascore is 49. And I believe Zoro is happening every 2 or 3 years, and it's never a good game.
This is 2022. Okay, it's animated. Yeah. I thought it was just really low res.
It is animated.
That looks
really very simple.
Very simplistic. Yeah, very childish. Moving on to a surprising one, Lego Brawls. Everyone loves Lego games. These are usually very successful. But this time they're trying something a little bit different. They're doing the Brawl, Brawlhalla style of fighting games. You choose Lego characters and you fight it out, which is an interesting idea, but it might really look like a clone of these fighting games, and it strips away a lot of the things that are popular about Lego, story-based games.
It is a couch co-op game, and you can play online multiplayer as well, but Metascore rated 46, and players rated 4.8.
Seems like they pretty much agree on that. Yeah.
Another game is called Xel. It's on Nintendo Switch. It got Metascore 43. And this one is more Zelda-like, but top-down view. This seems to have a pretty good story, but it seems to be so unpolished that the gamers cannot enjoy it very well. So maybe that's why.
The problem with releasing games too early. But it's in a fantasy sci-fi setting, maybe with some patches it might become more playable. So keep an eye on the user Metacritic score. Babylon's Fall is a surprising one because this is from Platinum Games. This is their new game from the developers of Nier Automata and Bayonetta. Yeah. Very popular games, but this one got a 41 on Metacritic and even worse, 2.1 from really the users. This is a fantasy fighting game with a unique graphical style. They say it's supposed to be like a medieval oil painting kind of style. So like
it looks like not
half very
so
detailed. Yeah, it looks like that didn't really work out. Other things that maybe didn't really work out. Well, there was one critic who kind of summed it up by basically saying Babylon's Fall gets wrong everything that you can get wrong in a game.
And that's not a good sign.
Ouch. Ouch indeed, Platinum Games.
I guess they don't know how to make online games good. Another game is called Crossfires. It's got 38 Metascore and 3.3 user score. It looks basically like Battlefield, but it seems like the single player is too short and multiplayer almost unplayable.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And we come to our worst game of 2022, according to Metacritic at least, a 30 out of 100 for Metacritic. Users a little bit more positive, 4.7. Yeah. That's not the worst on the list. Yeah. But Postal 4 No Regrets apparently was kind of a mess. This is in the series of the very irreverent and like
maybe
satirical,
you don't know the series. The first one was like GTA 1 on the countryside. It was quite popular. The second one was three-dimensional first person like this. And it was quite funny and all over the place, but ever since then, it's really
just
bad.
Getting worse and worse. Yeah. Well, one critic, for example, wrote, "Embarrassing is a word that doesn't even give the exact idea of how I feel about Postal 4. The crude style of the game suggests a ton of easy jokes, but in this case, I feel the best thing is simply to flush the toilet." Ouch.
Ouch.
That's not what you want to hear about your game. But that was our list of the 10 worst reviewed games on Metacritic that were published in 2022. If you like these lists, we have a new series of best games set in a particular city or country. The first one is Games Set in Tokyo, so check that out. If you guys like it, we'll make more like that.
And hope to see you next time. Bye.